at the end of the day, that's why this one's mine. All right, well, this is kind of a weird video for me for two reasons. First, I can't believe that it's been 6 years with the car. And second, I'm gonna be selling it soon. So I'm gonna be listing it for sale probably in a month or so once I have it all ready to go. For a long time, I thought that I never would. I thought that it was going to be a car that I kept forever. It's not a choice that I'm making because I don't enjoy the car anymore. I do, I love the car. It's strictly a financial decision at this point. It's paid off, it's held its value really well, and I could use that money to fund kind of the next couple steps of what I'm doing personally. To me, the most interesting thing about having owned the car for this long is that I've gained a lot of perspective in that time, having driven cars that are drastically faster and more expensive. The thing about the Z4M though, the driving experience, I think, is unique enough that although it doesn't have the performance, the technology, or countless other attributes of those newer cars, it still delivers everything that I want from a sports car. I never got back in the Z after shooting one of those videos and was disappointed. Aware of the age and the performance difference, yes, but never disappointed. I think the Roadster in particular is still a very undervalued driving experience, certainly compared to the other S54 cars that have shot up 50% or more in price. Plus, it has none of the typical convertible performance compromises in terms of weight or chassis rigidity. As far as reliability is concerned, you have to understand that my car has always been used seasonally in New England. I bought it with 61,500 miles 6 years ago, and it currently has 79,000 miles. However, those aren't miles that I spent in traffic or putzing around doing errands or going to work. They've been miles of enjoying the car the way that I felt a Z4M should be. Track days, cruises on my favorite back roads, and never a single mechanical hiccup, or electrical for that matter. In my time with the car, it has never broken, but I've always been really strict with maintenance preventatively, and I bought the car from the owner of an independent BMW repair shop, so I kind of stacked the odds in my favor in those ways. In particular though, I did the rod bearings like 2,000 miles ago at 77,000, and it definitely needed to be done. Many of them were down to copper, and the peace of mind alone was well worth it. I wasn't even enjoying the car anymore, I was so worried about it. So if you're gonna keep your car for a while and you wanna actually enjoy it without having a panic attack every time you hit redline, just spend the money. Plus, it's a service that will make potential buyers far more comfortable, which is an added bonus if you actually change your mind and want to sell the car one day. Now, a couple questions from you guys, starting with I'm a Heat fan, asking about my favorite upgrades, mods, or anything that I'd have done differently. Now I have a full list of everything that I've put in the description of the video down below if you want to see that, but let's start with must-have. I think the M is a blast, even stock, so it's a pretty short list for me, even though mine is so heavily modified. Most of these cars are getting up there in mileage, so the first one is, if your suspension is original, I'd recommend upgrading it. Springs and shocks are wear items, even if people don't like to think that they are. And even if they're not broken, they're still not performing the same way that they did at, say, 2,000 miles when you're at 100K. I noticed a huge difference just going to the Bilstein B12 kit. And even an OEM refresh, just factory BMW stuff, is worthwhile. You're taking your tired hardware and putting brand new stuff in there, and it just makes the car drive so much fresher. Now, another must-have for me is an intake of some kind, because the additional induction sound is just awesome. It's my favorite thing about the S54. A carbon airbox is obviously the lavish option, which is the path that I went down, but something like an Eventuri is still a great choice, and to be honest, I think it probably gets you like 75% of the way there. As far as things that I'd have done differently, well, I don't think I'd have cut holes in my hood had I thought that I'd be selling the car one day. I still like how it looks, and I like the functionality of the heat extraction. I mean, you can actually see it working on a hot day or at a track day, but it's definitely not great for resale. Next, I'm not sure if I'd go through all the hassle of doing the headers again. I love the sound, and it's the only real way to get that sound from the car. But I just don't think that or the minor performance gains are worth the cost or the emissions headaches anymore. I don't know if that's just me getting older or just the inconvenience of it is just annoying. If you live somewhere where there's no emissions, just do it. But if you want something louder than stock, I'd recommend the Stromung Axleback. Even without headers, it sounds great without being obnoxious, and I wish that I had just bought that first all those years ago, because I probably wouldn't have done anything else exhaust-wise to the car. All right, that was a long answer, so next question. Rock wants to know where I did my track days. I did a bunch of autocross at the infield track at Lime Rock, and I can't recommend that enough. interest in the cones in a parking lot style autocross. I just don't. So the infield at Lime Rock is absolutely awesome. It's basically a miniature track with huge elevation changes and camber. So you're getting kind of the look, feel, and experience of a track, but in a smaller scale with huge amounts of runoff. Like, there's nothing to hit. So you can really push the car, slide it around, get used to going over the limit in a way that you wouldn't on a full circuit. And I attribute a lot of my car control to my time there in the Z. Otherwise, I went to New York Safety Track, which was the perfect next step from autocross. It has a bit of everything in a pretty compact package. So a solid back straight, some high-speed flowing S's that are like 90 miles an hour in this car, like all third gear kind of stuff, and an extremely tight and technical section at the back, which is almost autocross-like. It's an absolutely perfect track for something like the Z4M that has enough power to be fun in that high-speed stuff, but it's still small and tossable enough that you have a blast in the tighter sections too. So that's another track that I would recommend if you're in New England. Now lastly, I'm also really humbled to hear about those of you that have actually ended up with Z4Ms based on my videos and soon to be jealous of your cars. I have a video or two that I'm hoping to make with the car before I sell it, so I hope you'll stick around for a fresh round of Z4M videos. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Little two-seat Roadster with an engine that's this high-strung, this exciting. It's perfect.